Okay, after learning about the Grasshopper canvas, I want to show you one of the most important basics in Grasshopper that you should learn, because that's going to help you to understand the underlying basics of Grasshopper. It's really important. The first thing I want to show you is the long list command in Grasshopper. Basically, Grasshopper is a long list data manager. So let me show you with an example. If we go to the curve menu, and here we have in the submenu primitive the line, which is going to produce a line between 2 points. I'm going to put that on the canvas. The display full name is activated, and sunglasses is also installed for me. So here you can see that there is a start point and an end point. Now, usually what we do with the components is that each of the inputs has a type of input it gets. For example, this is a point. It can have numbers, booleans, curves, surfaces, meshes, and lots of inputs that we have. As we go forward, we're going to talk about this just as I'm teaching the lesson. So for now, the most important thing is that just right click on the input and click on extract parameter for each of the inputs. This is really helpful if this input is also going to go to other tools. Maybe you want to use these points for interpolating and creating a curve. So remember that extracting the input is really helpful. So what I want to do here is, for the start point, right click and set multiple points. I'm going to click here and use the shift key to make it an ortho and make like 3 points. Then for the second set of points, I'm going to right click here and set multiple points. And I'm going to make 5 points. Only for the points, if you go to display, you have the option to turn on the gumballs. And as you can see here, if I'm looking at it from the top, it's only going to move in the XY plane. And if I go to the perspective, it's going to move in all the directions. So what's happening here is that the first point in this list is connected to the first point in the second list. To see the numbers, because if you just hover here, you can see that there are 3 points, and this one is like 5. You can see them by simply just double clicking on the canvas with 2 forward slashes and connected panel. Here you can see that we have 3 points, and here we have 5 points. What I want to do is to also show you how you can turn on the numbers on the points. You can go to display, and in the vector you can have a point list, display details about points, and you can connect the points to here. And for the size, you can give a number. So for the input, you can see that it's a number, which you can give any number you want. To give it a fast number, I'm going to just type 2.5. That's going to say that I want a number between 0 and 10. And actually, because I just gave 1 digit, it's going to be 1 digit. So if I say 2.50, it's going to give us 2 digits. So maybe 2.5 with 2 decimals, 3 decimals, whatever you want. You can double click it and change the minimum maximum range here. You can say that if it's a real number, if it's just an integer, if it's even or odd, or how many decimals you want, and just change the minimum maximum. Even you can give like -10 to 10 and just hit OK. And you can see it's going to be as an input, and here you can see that it's changing. There's also a trick for number sliders. You can just double click and say maybe I want a number from 1 with 2 decimals. Let me show you here. It's going to be a number for the start. Maybe it's like -10, 2 points, that means till, and the maximum number you want. So for example, it's going to be 15, and you can say I want it with 3 decimals. So that's going to give you a number slider between -10 and 15 with 3 decimals. That's a fast way you can say that I want that. Maybe I want 30 with 2 decimals, and give that to the size, and I can increase that. I can also delete the title. It's going to be the input I've given to the slider, and here you can see how fast I can show it. So I'm going to put this for the first set, and because if I connect the second set, it's going to disconnect. I have to use the shift key to just give both of them. So remember that this is also really important, and I can see the numbers. So here you can see, because it's just connected to 1, it's going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is not what we want. I'm going to say Control-C, Control-V. We can give that size again to one of the inputs and just show the first set and the second set alone. So remember that that's going to separate the group, and the 0 for the first set is going to go to the 0 to the second one, 1 to 1, 2 to 2, and because there is no 3 or 4 for the first set, it's going to connect, the 3 and the 4 is going to connect to the shortest list. And that means the longest list. It means that the longer one is going to connect to the last one on the shorter one. So this is by default what Grasshoppr does. And if you want to know about shortest and long and cross-reference for further information, you can go to the sets here, and in the list submenu you will have a menu here: longest list, shortest list, and cross-reference. So for example, if I say longest list, you can also search for long, and it's going to find that. If the inputs are 2, you can use this one. Maybe a tool has maybe 3 inputs. Let me see if I can find one. Maybe this one, it's like 4 inputs. So you have to zoom in and just hit this plus. So all of the inputs are going to go to here, and then give them to the 4 inputs you have. So remember, whatever you have, based on the number of inputs, you can zoom in and get rid of that if you want to. And also you can change the inputs if you want to, say like 1 and 2. I think that's the only way you can change the inputs. The outputs can't be changed, so that's also possible. But if you just hit the plus, it's going to change the output here. So if I rename this to 3, just add 1, so it's 3, and then delete this last one. So you can rename them if you want to. But anyway, these are 2 inputs. If I give this filter to my tools, you can see it's obviously giving me the same. But if I go to the sets list, shortest list, and just give this filter, you can see that 3 and 4 is not going to connect to anything. Also, if I go here and say cross-reference, it's going to connect all of them. Remember that if you just right click, there are other options, for example, diagonal, coincident, and other inputs: lower triangle, upper triangle, and the holistic is just connecting all of the inputs from the first group to all of the inputs to the last group. To finish this tutorial, I just want to give you an overview, because obviously it's not going to be just points that we are going to work with, but assume that we have a series of blocks. Just to give you some overview about geometry, which is more practical. And Control-C, Control-V, rotate this 90 degrees and make a copy of this. Okay, I'm going to scale this a little bit, move them up and make a copy. Just hold down the Alt key and assume I want to intersect these 2 sets of groups. So for the more practical overview of this, it's going to be intersection, physical, brep. Brep is a boundary representation, which means polysurface. It means a multiple surface of NURBS connected together. So if I just right click, extract, set multiple breps, just draw up here, so it selects this 3, set multiple breps, select these 6. Here you can see, if I just you can right click and internalize them if you don't want to have the Rhino components, and I'm going to select this, and as you can see here, the first one for this brep has been intersected with the first one for here. The second one has been intersected with the, I think we don't know the numbers, so how can we find them? If you want to find a number for a solid, maybe you can go to the surface and say volume. It's going to give you the centroids. And now I can go to point list. The previous version had the bake, but here we don't have it, so I don't know why, but anyway, let's just give this to the size. I think we have to make this a little bit bigger so we can see that here. Okay, so as you can see here, we have a 0, 1, and for this list, it's like 0 is here, 1 is here, 2 is here. If you want to fix this, what you have to do is in Rhino, when you want to select them, set to, you say first one, second one, and third one. Because I just made a window, it doesn't know which one is the first one. So this is the first one, second, third, fifth, sixth, like that. So I think this is going to help you to understand it easier. Okay. Anyway, now it's like 0, 1, 2, and 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, as you can see here, the 0 from this list has intersected with this one, had this one. The second list from here has intersected with this one, we have it here. The third one has intersected with this one, and we have it here. And because these extra 3 doesn't have any additional B-reps on the first side, it's going to just intersect with the last one, so we have it here. So a good example is going to be, we just go to cross reference and say have an intersection for all of them. As you can see here, it's going to intersect all of them. So that's how you can make a cross reference practical. Another thing that I usually use for the shortest list, if I wanted to show you that as a practical example, in the future examples, for example, we have a series of panels we have, so I'm going to give that to 3 of the to the curve inputs, and then we have a point we have produced on the ground. Maybe we want to nest them, so I'm going to give it here. And then for example, I'm going to say orient them on the ground. In the future, I'm going to talk about these things, so don't panic. I'm just showing you the shortest list here, and I'm saying orient this from the center to the target. And as you can see here, the first, second, and the third is in these points, especially if we say which one is the first one. First, second, third, fourth, and the last one. So this is the direction. And now we need a shortest list filter. So what I have to do here is to zoom and add 3. I usually do that because it's a good way of using it. And then I'm saying this one and here. Now you can see that even if we have extra points inside the list, we just want to nest them in the first 3, we're going to use the short list. So that's why you have to always remember that Grasshopper by default is working in the longest list, but we sometimes need a cross-reference, sometimes we need a short list, and that's how we work with the data management. In the future, I'm going to teach you more about this, but anyway, I wanted to give you the first impression of how data is managed in Grasshopper. In the future lessons, we're going to talk about other tools. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, just ask below this lesson, and see you next time. Bye.